I loved picking berries in Finland. It was one of my favorite things to do. It was really fun. If you have the chance to go berry picking in Finland, you'll love it. I honestly, I love it so much. I miss it. I loved picking strawberries, or one time we went to a forest and just got to pick blueberries, and it was so fun. I love just how peaceful Finland is. It was always so peaceful, and I don't know, that's something that I feel like is hard to find in other places, and I really miss that. I also miss just all of the lakes there and all of the trees. I guess just nature in general. It's really beautiful, just so green, and the lakes, they're like glass. It's so beautiful. They'll reflect all of the trees, and it's beautiful. I also miss the public transportation there. Metros, trolleys, and then they have like all the buses, trains. It's really cool. They're really good or their system is just really awesome. I think the thing that I miss the most is the people. I really miss all of the friends that I made there. So I got to Finland in August, which is the perfect time to go to Finland. Everything is so green. And I think, if I remember right, Finland is like 70 to 80% forest. And so it's beautiful in the summertime. So that was just something that I loved. I just fell in love with it right away because everything was so green and so peaceful and so clean. I guess some of the culture shocks, I feel like I didn't really have a lot of culture shocks there, but some random things are, their elevators there are really tiny. It only fits like 2 or 3 people, and when you're in the elevator, there's not like a door that's closed. You'll just be going up it and you'll see the different doors from the different floors like moving, or the wall. So you're like enclosed in it, but I don't know, it's kind of scary. So that was kind of just like a weird little thing about Finland, but it is fun to see that like elevators aren't the same everywhere. That was never something that that had never crossed my mind, that elevators would be different. In the winter, when it's really snowy, it's different in Finland because they don't plow their streets. Instead, they have these machines that will just like lay down little layers of rocks, like little pebbles. They're just like really tiny. And it was weird because then it would snow again and then they'd put more rocks down. So instead of like plowing or I guess that's what you'd call it, plowing the sidewalks, they would just keep laying rocks down. So by the end of the winter, it was just this thick thing of ice with layers of rock in between it. And then when all of the ice melted, they had these machines that would come and recycle the rocks. They'd come pick them up, and then they would bring them, like they'd use them again the next year. One thing that I love about Finland is how much they care about the environment, because the environment is really important to me and to my family. And it was really cool to go to Finland and kind of feel like I finally had people that really understood that. And, you know, I felt like I finally had a community of people that really valued the environment and just really taking care of it. Not that people here don't, but it just is such a big part of their life there. They're always outside in nature. They're always walking their dogs, which I love dogs. And so it was really fun. I remember I always was excited to see the little paw prints in the snow, or just like to pet all the dogs. Even if it was freezing cold outside, they'd take them on walks, and just were really good at like being outside and enjoying nature. And they also have a really cool recycling system there. They recycle basically everything, and it's really cool. I feel like it takes a lot of guilt off of me to know like I'm able to recycle so much and conserve so much, and just really take care of the environment. Finland is super safe, so I didn't really have a lot of dangerous experiences. They were just just a classic few run-ins with drunks, because they do like to drink in Finland. I remember one time I was on the street with my companion, and it was winter, so it was really dark, and it was just us two and then this guy, and he was very drunk, but we didn't realize when we first approached him. And then we were talking to him, and he started to like lean in, trying to give us both a hug, and I remember my self-defense came out, and I like pushed my companion out of the way and like spun around, and then we kind of just ran away. But I don't know, Finland's really safe, so that was one of the scariest things that happened. So I actually got to go back to Finland this summer, and it was so fun because I finally got to experience the Finnish sauna, which I had been wanting to do my whole mission, but I just couldn't. We just didn't have time for it. And it was really fun. I went to one of my friends' Mickey's, which is like their summer cottage, and he had a wood-burning sauna, and it was really fun. I was with my brother, and we just like got to be in the sauna, and then we would go and we'd jump in the freezing cold lake. It was so cold, but that's what they do in Finland. They'll be in the sauna and then run and jump in the lake. So we did that like 2 or 3 times. He even had shampoo and conditioner in the sauna, so it was really fun. After our hair was wet, we put some shampoo in it, and then we ran back to the lake and jumped in and washed it out. And it was cool to get to experience that part of the Finnish culture. I love Finnish food. It's so yummy. And I really miss it because it's kind of hard to replicate it in the US. The ingredients are kind of different. I think my very favorite Finnish food is lohikeitto, which it's salmon soup. And it's so yummy. It's this soup that's kind of in a creamy, liquidy sauce. I don't know how to explain that. It's creamy, but it's not super thick. And then it has like thick chunks of potatoes and salmon and a lot of dill and some carrots sometimes. And it's so yummy, especially when it's really cold outside. I always loved going over to people's houses and having some salmon soup. It always warmed me up, and it tasted so yummy. But I think another thing that I loved was the desserts in Finland. My favorite dessert was probably pulla, which is like Finnish sweetbread. There's one, people sometimes say it tastes like a cinnamon roll. I think it's very different, but kind of similar. It has cardamom in it, and it's so yummy. I feel like you can't really make it in the US. I've tried, and it's pretty good, but I definitely have days that I just want to go to a bakery in Finland and just try some pulla. It's so good. The craziest Finnish food was probably, it's called Mammi. I don't really know how to explain it, but they have it every Easter, and it's really funny because a lot of Finns don't like it, but it's kind of their tradition to eat it. And it's pretty much like rye and I don't even know what else is in it, water and stuff. It honestly looks like poo. Like they admit that, and it's really weird. But if you put a lot of cream and a lot of sugar in it, then it kind of tastes okay. There are some people that really like it, but for the most part, it's kind of just part of the tradition, so you eat it. Another one is salmiakki. I think that's what it's, yes, salmiakki. And it's black licorice, but it's really salty. So you eat it and it's like your mouth explodes with salt. It's really weird. I really love how honest Finns are. They're very honest people. It takes a little while to become a friend with a Finn, but once you get them to open up a little bit, they become your best friend forever. It's so fun. I remember one time I was on a train and I was talking to this cute lady and her husband, and at first they weren't very interested in talking to me, but by the end of the train ride, like 2 hours later, we'd had a super long conversation. We'd made a lot of connections, and she gave me her email address and her phone number and her address so that I could come visit her and everything, just because she wanted to stay friends with me. I think that my favorite place in Finland would be Vaasa. It's just very beautiful there. It's right on the coast. I think that it's like a 2 or 3 hour boat ride to Sweden. So it's really fun because when we'd be talking to people on the street, every few people would speak Swedish. So it was just kind of cool to have that mix of people that spoke Finnish and Swedish And then, of course, a lot of people spoke English. And it's just very beautiful there. It's just a peaceful little town. There are definitely a lot of foods that I would recommend when you're traveling through Finland. I mentioned some of them earlier, but pulla, which is a sweetbread, definitely you have to try, and salmon soup. But then there's also this thing that I love called riisipierakka. It translates to rice pie, but I think that kind of gives the wrong image. It's pretty much rice porridge, and then it's in this little rye shell, and it's really yummy. Oh, there's also this ice cream. It's called mud cake ice cream, which is really yummy, and then just mud cake in general is really good there. So I think there are a lot of fun foods to try. Yeah, the holidays in Finland, they were really fun. My favorite was definitely Christmas. Christmas there is a really big celebration. It's about 3 days long, or it is 3 days long. It's Christmas Eve, Christmas, and then Boxing Day. And it was really fun. That part of the year is just really amazing because it's so dark outside, and I feel like Christmas just brings so much light. It's really fun. On Christmas Eve, they'll have Santa Claus or joulupukki come to their house and bring the children their gifts. So it's a little different than in the United States. And they just spend a lot of time with family. They have a few different foods that are really yummy. They have rice porridge, which is it's a yummy Christmas tradition. And I think, if I remember right, they put an almond in the rice porridge, and then whoever finds the almond in their portion of the rice porridge has good luck for a year or something. I think that's what it was. Something else that's really cool around Christmas time is Finland is really close to their ancestors, which I really love. And they have a few different holidays, including around Christmas time, where they'll put candles on all of the graves. And it's really beautiful to go because it's, for example, in December it's really dark there. And so it's so beautiful to get to go and just see all of these lights everywhere on the graves. So when I was in Finland, we didn't have a smartphone with directions. We had to use maps. And so we got lost a lot. And almost every time we stopped a Finn on the street and asked for help with directions, they were more than happy to help us. And I just loved that no matter what they were doing, they just were happy to help. That was just kind of innate in their personalities, it seemed like, that want to help people and just make sure they were okay. The sauna in Finland is like a religious thing there. They do it every week. It's a very important part of their life. And they don't like things to get in the way of it. So I remember sometimes we'd knock on a door and they'd come out in their robe, a little grumpy because we'd disturbed their sauna night. And it was funny, it was cool to see how big of a part of their culture it was. I think it's really cool because it really gives them time to slow down, and I think that it's a really healthy part of life, just to have that time to be peaceful and take time to yourself and be with your family. I had a lot of funny language mistakes. I think the first one that came to my mind was we were talking to a few people, and my companion said, or my friend that I was with, she was asking, do you want to eat with us? But she didn't say with us, she said, do you want to eat us? And so that was funny. She was brand new to Finland, and so I felt bad because I kind of just started laughing and kept laughing for a long time, and then finally stopped. A really common language mistake that missionaries make, they mean to say, can we come meet with you? But they'll say, can we come kill you? Because it's very similar. It's saammeko tulla tapaamaan teitä, or saammeko tulla tapaamaan teitä? I don't even know. I probably messed that up, but that's the difference. The Finnish language is really hard, but really fun. I remember I was so overwhelmed at first learning it, but I really came to love it. It's a really beautiful language. It's just so different from English. I think that's just what makes it so hard, is the grammar is completely different. And so it was just having to completely adjust your mind, to think in a completely new way. I think you can learn a lot about cultures but through their language, and Finnish language is very direct. Like, you kind of just say things to the point. I guess you could kind of say it's kind of blunt in some ways. Just really honest. And I think that reflects the Finnish people. They're just very honest and to the point. There are a lot of case endings in Finland, or in Finnish. I can't remember how many, but it was just really cool to see how you could change words and how a word could just take on a lot of different meanings, I guess. I think there are a lot of ways to slaughter Finnish. I wouldn't say that I'm very good at having a Finnish accent now, but I've definitely improved. I guess some things, like when I was first learning Finnish, something I would say, Minä haluan tulla sinun kanssasi kirkolle. Or saammeko tulla opettamaan teidät? I don't know. I don't really know what I would have done. No, mä oon todella kiitollinen suomalaisista ihmisistä. Se oli iso siunaus elämässäni, että voisin asua Suomessa 1,5 vuotta, koska mä opin todella paljon teiltä. Haluaisin kiittää teitä, suomalaisia ihmisiä, teidän ystävällisyydestään, meitä lähetyssaarnaajia kohtaan, koska me tarvitsemme teidän rakkautta. Ja mä tunsin siitä, kun olin Suomessa. Olen kiitollinen teidän esimerkistänne minulle, koska te olette niin ystävällisiä ja te olette ihania ihmisiä. Ja te autoitte minua tuntemaan todella paljon iloa, ja mun elämäni se on parempi, koska mä voisin asua Suomessa.